Hi everyone, Ms. Tash here. Today's lesson is a drawing based on the Greek mythology creature Medusa. Um, some of you may have studied her during sixth grade social studies, so I will tell you a little bit about the background of this character and why um, I, I really find her endearing. So, um, when you are looking for information on Medusa, what's going to happen is you're going to find a lot of different stories about her. And the reason why is because Greek mythology stories were like bedtime stories for children. And so what happened was the parents would tell these stories and they were illiterate, meaning they weren't written down. So they were just told and told and told. Um, for many of you, you will hear me tell you the same story like half a dozen times, and you'll be like, I heard that already, but I will embellish it in a different way, or it has a different reason for being told, or whatever, or I just can't remember that I told you. So that's how these stories, how they change. Um, the same thing is going to happen when you are recalling the events of 2020. You're going to be like not remembering some of the yucky stuff, and you're going to, I don't know, it's just weird how memory changes your perspective. So, Medusa story, this is how I know it, how I have heard of it. So, she was born to a family of sea serpents, and they were icky, like they were like slugs. And her father, especially, was sort of like laying at the bottom of the sea, and he was like really like chubby and sort of mean. And for some reason, she came out humanoid, so she was like a humanoid type creature, and she was very beautiful. She was so beautiful that she would sit on like a rock in the sea, in the Mediterranean Sea, and the sailors would go by and they'd be like, "Hi, Medusa." And she'd be like, "Hi, have a nice day." And she'd be super, super sweet. And then she captured the eye slash heart of the god of the sea, and he took a liking to her and took her to a palace and you know loved her and stuff like that. And so then one of the other goddesses, in some stories it's Athena, and some stories it is Aphrodite, and that goddess put a hex on her to make her so that she would be so awfully ugly that she would not be able to capture the heart of any man. And in fact, if they looked at her, they would turn to stone and obviously die. So she ended up being hideously ugly, and the way that's represented is her hair is like actual live snakes. So if you've ever seen the movie Clash of the Titans, they represent her as someone where like they needed her head so that she could still kill another one of the Titans, the Kraken. And so her head still worked, I guess, after it was chopped off her body or whatever. So sorry, that's a spoiler alert. I just ruined that movie for you. It's called Clash of the Titans, and they have a 2012 version, and then they have the classic 1981 version that came out when I was in high school. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so back to this. I'm going to show you a pattern called the Greek key, and once you learn it, you will never forget it. All right, so here goes. It looks like this. It goes up, across, halfway, halfway, halfway. Across, up, across, halfway, halfway, halfway. Across, up, across, halfway, halfway, halfway. Now, and you keep going. And then what happens is, I don't know if you could see that because I obviously didn't check if I was covering it. So it continues. I made it a little bit on the diagonal. You can also make it straight up and down. To me, it looks like, if you ever watched the Munsters, it's like Herman Munster's foot in his shoe, upside down and right side up. And so upside down, right side up, it should look exactly the same. So if you flipped it, it looks the same. So let me see if I can do that again where I'm like not in the way. Okay, up, across, halfway, 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 across, up, halfway, halfway, halfway. That's the Greek key. Now, when you're doing this project, you don't have to use Greek patterns, but I would like maybe for you to at least try the Greek key. When I've done this project in the past, I've done it on a larger piece of paper with a border, and I made sure that the students used Greek patterns for the border, but not Greek patterns for the snakes. Then I did this project once. Oh, I don't know if you can see this, but where I have my own face on there, and we trace the faces from photographs. But what you have is you have a portrait packet that you can use, and in this portrait packet, it shows you how to place the face features so that they have symmetry. So I want you to be studying this so that you can make your face either as detailed or as generic as you want to, okay? You can even make it a particular person's face if you wanted to. So this is how it's going to look. So I'm probably going to have my back to the camera again because this is super hard to draw and talk at the same time. I'm still learning. Okay, so here we go. So I'm just going to make like a chin, okay? And then I'm going to make a neck and shoulders. So what happened now is that I can't make my, because I'm using Sharpie. If you were using pencil, you could erase this. But when I use pencil, you can't see it on the video. So now what I want to do is I want to put the nose in, the lips, eye, it would be really awesome if you could use the picture that I have in the handout, if I can find it, this, where it shows you exactly how to place the face. So you can see that the eyes are one eye width apart, and the nose is actually, where did my hand go? Between the eyes. Isn't that interesting? It's so cool. So go ahead and look at this and see if you can follow it so that you can make a nice face. Because one of the things you do not want, because the eyes are supposed to be in the middle of the face, you don't want the eyes to be like way up here, like the person has no brains. Okay, so eyebrows. And now it's time to start making the snakes. So you want to make the snakes big enough so that when you put Sharpie on there, you're going to have like some thin and some thick lines like we did before. So everything that we're doing is sort of building on the thing that we did before. And I think I'm going to put a little bit of ear. You have to have an ear. In the case of this picture here, there are no snakes where the ears would be, so there has to be ears. But like right now, when you look at me, it looks like I have no ears, but it's because my hair is in the way. So if you put the hair, snake hair, where ears would be, and you don't need to put ears. So this is the way I start. I just sort of start and make one snake. And make it like a sideways one. And then maybe, okay. And then little by little, make another one. Maybe this one's going to come out over here. Another one. So this is about the size of your paper. Now, I gotta tell you that I'm trying to make these snakes so they're about a finger's width wide. Because if you make them any smaller, what ends up happening is the designs get lost in the Sharpie. They end up looking very, very dark and like there's no design at all. So now I'm going to just finish the head. We put another snake here. So I think I'm going to turn that ear into a snake. Looks better that way. And I think I'll do the same thing over here. And then just keep going. So we don't have room for the border. My Medusa right now looks like she's naked, so she really needs some form of a shirt. So kind of reminds me of I was wearing a strapless dress once, and I was at a wedding, and my mom took a picture of me, and she cropped it like that, and it looked like I wasn't wearing anything. It's just so stupid. It looks so stupid in the photo album. So you have to make sure that you have that in there. Now, once you have all that, and of course I use straight Sharpie, you can't do that in the sketchbook because what's going to happen is it'll bleed through to the other page. So it's best if you have a piece of cardboard or something like that between the pages, or if you put the page, sort of move it so that the rest of the sketchbook is out of the way on your table. You still don't want to have bleed through, but you start with pencil first, and then you can add thick and thin lines for Sharpie. So let's say I wanted the lips to be thicker, so I might double the Sharpie. You don't want to color in with Sharpie in large areas. That's not a good idea, because if you did that, the Sharpie is going to dry up on you, and that won't be good. So now we are ready to put patterns in. Now this video is going to seem short, and then you're going to be like, okay, I did it all. You don't have to do it that way. Start out with the face. Do that. Rest. Go back and add the snakes. Take a break. Then do the pattern. Then you can color it in when you're fresh, instead of trying to do it all at once, because then you're going to be like, oh, this is taking too long. Just relax with it and have fun with it. And you can see how some snake, I have all different sort of ways that the hair could look. I've seen these hair shows where they take hair and they just make all kinds of, like, they put wire in the hair and they make it do all sorts of things. And so you can really have fun with what these snakes would be doing. Like this one, I'm doing it the wrong way. This one is like a loop-de-loop. It's kind of fun, okay? So then when I put patterns in, patterns are shapes that repeat. There's really three ways to make patterns. One is to repeat shapes, making them the same size, same distance apart. The other way is to repeat lines. And lines can be repeated vertically, horizontally, or diagonally, or a combination of those things, like in the case of plaid or something, or gingham or something like that. And then what you do is you also make them the same length and the same distance apart. The third way to make a pattern is called progression or gradation, and that's when you take a small shape and then make it bigger and bigger and bigger, which doesn't really work with these snakes because this picture is very, relatively small. So one of my favorite patterns is like the oval within the oval. I had this idea that, like, I want of a candy invention, like, oh my gosh, how about making Lifesavers oval? Then you'd have to change the packaging, but oh, it would fit on the tongue so much better. So I like oval within an oval, oval within an oval. Okay, what's lovely about this shape is that now you have smaller areas in which to color in. And so you can color in smaller areas with the colored Sharpies, or you can use colored pencil. or you could even do it like, if you wanted to, you could do it like straight pencil only with shading, but it just depends on what you have. And if we're going to be doing this with everybody has the same materials, I think that the Sharpie colored pencils situation is going to work best. So there we go. Put more of those. And I want to try to keep, I'm putting halvesy ones. I don't know if you could see that, because the snake is, you know, in real life is like three-dimensional. So it works that way. Okay, I might do another one where it's all hearts. And I'm following. So see, now these are upside down because following the line of it. Maybe I have a striped one, candy cane. So you're going to be graded on, you know, neatness. You're also going to be graded on the detail, the quality of your patterns, and how well you created that face, as well as coloring. So, not done. These are more done. This one's, I never finished coloring it, but that's the Medusa project. And so it's going to be done in your sketchbooks. So enjoy.